outline, hindi po maaring sumalungat ang power ng either house, the House of the Senate and the House of Representatives, na nag-formulate ng rules na labag sa saligang batas, particularly the due process clause, the right against self-incrimination, and the right to remain silent. Oo. So, yan po ang isa sa mga kinababahala namin. Ina-abuse. Ewan ko kung alam mo hindi. Kasi si Terry Didon, back in the days when Terry Didon was just growing his face, nandun na kami sa sa impeachment ni na Jing at saka ni Manny. Kaya sinasabi po nga namin, si Luistro, si De Lima, ay napakapangit po ng sinasabi nila doon sa committee hearing, sapagkat labag po sa batas. At kitang-kita naman natin, they're turning this into a demolition job. Can you imagine the pettiness of these people? Nagpapakuha pa ng Mary Grace, Iatos, si Sedanya, di ba? Tabingi po ang katuwiran ni Sedanya sa dating na yan because they're undergoing trial by publicity. Oh, yan po ang kinababahala namin. They're abusing the process. They should let the Senate conduct the trial kasi may pagkakaiba po yan. Ang daming abogado rito. They can explain it better. We have lawyers here who are much better than myself. So, with that, yun po ang pahayag ng PDP. We are alarmed, we are bothered, we are very deeply concerned with the weaponization nitong process sa House na dapat summary lang ginagawa nila. They're converting it into a kangaroo court. At ang panawagan po namin sa committee, alam naman po natin, wag na nating lukuhin ang taong bayan. Alam naman namin that you will find sufficient ground and you will transmit it to the Senate. Gawin nyo na. Hipokrito kayo eh. Kunyari pa nagtatrial kayo, preordained na naman ang conclusion yan eh. And you're not fooling anyone. So, gawin nyo na. Ngunit siyempre hindi nila gagawin dahil gagawin nila ito to rake the Vice President over the coals. That is why we believe in the PDP that it was a very smart move for the Vice President not to attend. Siyempre, iti-twist nila yan. Pero tama po ang Vice Presidente. Bakit ka pupunta sa isang kangaroo court, sa isang court of a star chamber na alam mo na ang kahihinatnan, you will only be legitimizing what they are doing, the illegal and unconstitutional things that they are doing by your presence. So ang klaro po dyan, nakita po natin yung stand ni VP sa kanyang answer. Wala pong waiver of rights at wala pong waiver ng any constitutional objections that there may be down the road. Maraming salamat po. And now I turn you over to my more capable brethren in the profession.
The youngest there. Yeah.
Magandang umaga po. Gusto ko lang tulungan ang ating taong bayan na maunawaan yung nangyayari, and I ask the members of the media to help our cause. Meron po akong dalawang konsepto na nais ilatag. Tulungan niyo po kaming ipaunawa sa taong bayan. Dalawa lamang po. Una, yung salitang akin. Ang daming nalilito sa salitang akin, katulad. Pangalawa, yung konsepto na in dubio pro reo. When in doubt, rule in favor of the accused. Ulitin ko po, dalawa lang. Isalitang akin, katulad. Kawangis, pero hindi salamin, ha? Katulad lamang, akin. Pangalawa, in dubio pro reo. Gusto kong maunawaan ng taong bayan yan. Okay. Sa impeachment po, it is a sui generis proceeding. Wala siyang katulad. It is a class of its own. Kaya, tuwing meron pong sinasabi na ang impeachment proceeding sa House ay akin to preliminary investigation, mag-a-apply dyan medyo ang rules of court. Medyo lamang. Pero hindi eksakto. Tama po ba? Okay. Ang mga issue, maiintindihan nyo kaagad kapag inisip nyo yung salitang akin tsaka indubio pro reo. Bakit? Ano yung mga issue? Kahapon, sinabi nila, gusto nila na mag-cross-examine tayo, no, on our side, gustong i-cross-examine yung mga witnesses. Ang sabi po ng House, hindi naman ito criminal prosecution. Walang right to cross-examine. Okay? Pero, hindi po ang rules of court ang mananaig sa issue na yan. Dahil akin lamang sa preliminary investigation. So when in doubt, kung i-apply natin ang rules of court or hindi, dapat hindi. Ang i-apply natin ay ang konstitusyon. Because this is already akin to a criminal prosecution. Nadje-jeopardize na si Sara eh. Dahil sa susunod yan, diretso na sa ombudsman yan. Tama po ba? Ang masusunod lang po na rules, strictly, ay ang konstitusyon at suppletory lamang ang rules of court. Okay. Gusto naman nila na isabina na yung bank records. Di ba, Kong Jing, gusto na raw nila mag-hold ng mini trial. Kanino po nanggaling yung salita niyan? Sa kanila po sa House. That's what they call a Freudian slip. Gustong-gusto na nilang mag-mini trial. Okay. So sila naman ang gumagamit ng salitang akin. It is already akin to a mini trial. Ano po ba nakalagay sa Article 11 ng Constitution, Section 3, number 6? The Senate has the sole power to try and decide all cases of impeachment. Meaning, hindi naman siya trial. Pero pag akin na siya to a trial, mini trial sa kanila, aling yan. No? Ibig sabihin, trial na yan. Bawal na yan. Wala silang jurisdiction. Therefore, it is fatally flawed. Defective siya. Then, pwedeng iakyat sa Supreme Court to for lack of jurisdiction. Bakit? When in doubt, rule in favor of the accused. Okay? To sum up, ito lang po ang panawagan natin sa taong bayan. Educate yourselves. Every time pinipilit po ang rules of court o kaya ang iba pang rules, that is not applicable in strictissimi juris or juris, no? What will strictly apply only is the Constitution, Article 11 tsaka Article 3 Bill of Rights, no? Yan lang ang strict nating i-apply. Uulitin ko, pag nagmumukha ng criminal prosecution yan. Okay? In dubio pro reo. Pag nagmumukha ng trial, bawal na yan. Okay? Pag sinabi naman nilang preliminary investigation lang to, hindi pa pwede mag-cross-examine. In dubio pro reo. Pwede na mag-cross-examine dapat. Bakit? Because it's in favor of the accused. Every time may duda, i-apply ang konstitusyon in strictissimi juris and ignore other rules. Always in favor of Sara, who is now an accused, is in jeopardy, and alam naman nating kakasuhan nila. And the last message on accountability, no one is avoiding accountability. Kung gusto nyo, kasuhan nyo. Hindi po immune ang Vice President. Kasuhan nyo sa Ombudsman na kayo naman ang nagtalaga. Kasuhan nyo doon. Pero itong impeachment, para sa akin nga, i-dismiss nyo na o ituloy nyo na, sabi nga ni Attorney Ferdy. Kasi kung merong reasonable certainty of conviction sa Senate, iakyat nyo na. At kung wala naman, itigil nyo na para po sa taong bayan. Maraming salamat po.
Okay. Magandang umaga. Magandang umaga sa ating mga kaibigan dito, both from the mainstream media and the blogs or bloggers. In my 30 years of practice, and in 3 impeachment cases that I participated in together with my good compañeros, Attorney Jing Paras and Attorney Ferdinand Topacio, this is the first time that we have seen a witch hunting, fishing expedition, and a kangaroo court mold into one. This is the most horrendous, outrageous, and void proceeding in an impeachment case. Can you imagine? Dalawang impeachment complaints na recycled and bogus, pinagbigyan nila on form and sufficiency. Tapos, nagkaroon ng proceeding which is, according to our companion attorney Jimmy Bondoc, ay akin to a trial. Meron bang ganun? Only the Senate, sitting as an impeachment court, can conduct a trial. There's nothing in the rules of the House, nor in the Constitution, that permits the House Committee on Justice to commit a mini trial. Doon pa lang, pwede na nating iakyat yan sa Korte Suprema. Yung subpoena powers nila ay inabuso. Yung ultimate facts, wala. Tapos hihingi ka ng subpoena para mag-supply ng deficiency sa complaints. That renders the entire proceedings null and void. Kaya I agree with legal luminaries that this should be brought before the Supreme Court on a petition for certiorari with temporary restraining order. Because the rights of the accused in this case, Vice President Sara Duterte, is being violated as we speak. Grabe and grave abuse of discretion dito. In Bautista, in Sereno, and in Corona, hindi namin nakita ito. Imagine mo, isusupina nila ngayon ang mga bangko. Walang ganon. Only the Senate can do that. So that's another void action on the part of the House of Representatives. I would like to point that out, not because our dear Vice President ay malapit sa puso namin. We are duty-bound as citizens to protect the office of the Vice President, which is being violated ngayon ng House of Representatives who are more concerned with the impeachment than addressing the emergency economic situation that we are facing. Maraming salamat.
Marami pong salamat, mga kababayan, sa ating members of the media and of course the social media. Very simple lang ang sasabihin ko rito. They've always been saying that impeachment is a political, endeavor, political process. Kaya the height of politics is present in the House of Representatives sa Committee on Justice. I mean, wala na tayong pag-uusapan. Doon pa lang sa determination of form and substance. Pinakita na nila yung politika. 54 versus 1. Oh, itong si Rufus Rodriguez, kunyari, dito, hindi niya alam kung saan siya kapapanik, sa kaliwa ba o sa kanan. Pero bumoto pa rin doon sa substance. So, dinadrama nila ang taong bayan. Alam naman natin kung saan hahantong ito lahat. In fact, gustong-gusto nila talaga na magkaroon ng trial sa Senate. Pero ito lahat palabas. Palabas lang ito. Tulad ditong pangit na chairman. Gusto niyang maging maganda sa mga media. Kaya panay press release niya sa mga mali-mali niyang sinasabi. Enhancing the political process to persuade the people in their favor. Kung gusto nila noon na 1/3 ay minamadali nila, bakit hindi na nila madaliin ngayon? Magboto na sila. Bakit pa nila gagamitin ang BP para sa kanilang sarswela? Alam naman natin, sarswela lahat ito. Wala silang ebidensya, mangangalap pa. You know, when you file a case, if it's a criminal or a civil, you file a case in a criminal doon sa fiscal. Pagdating doon sa complaint mo, nakalatag na lahat na ebidensya. Hindi ka na pwedeng tika-tika fiscal, isupina mo muna ito kasi wala kaming naka-attach ditong ebidensya sa sinasabi namin. Pwede ba yung ganun? Supina mo ba? The fiscal, which is akin. Sabi ni Jimmy, yung fiscal, kung anong trabaho ng fiscal, ganun din ang trabaho ng House Committee on Justice. They only determine probable cause. Pero if you're conducting a trial, you're already making a judgment. Kaya you're usurping the powers of the Senate. Di ba? Ano pang gagawin ng Senado kung pinrejudge mo na dito by making a mini trial kunyari, pero actually, you're already making a full-blown trial under the guise of a mini trial. Well, the Constitution did not use the word try for the House of Representatives. It only says initiate. And initiate means to say, i-determine mo lang, tapos kung mayroon kayong prima facie or probable, magbutuhan sa plenary. If you get 1/3, then let the Senate decide and try the case. Ito, inuusik nyo na si Vice President using several stupid arguments from stupid people na hindi man lang mga abogado. Paano na ang taong bayan? Tapos, gumagasta sila, nagpupunta sa Bali, mag-birthday celebration, hindi natin alam yung mga under the table dyan. So, ito lahat po ay pamulitika. Kaya, baloney, yung House, talagang alam na natin ang ang kanilang boto. Mayroon diyang iba, kunyari, isang partido, isang ganito, kunyari, pahaging-pahaging pa. Sabi nga nung isang businessman na kausap ko, nagpapalapad lang ng papel yan para baka hindi pa nabigyan. So, ganito po lahat yan. Politika ang nagtulak nitong Committee on Justice. Gusto nilang gamitin for their propaganda, and they're hiring even dean of law schools to talk in their behalf to justify their sarsuela na mini trial. Mayroon isang bobo dyan na din na sinipa ng kanyang law school, daldal ng daldal, ang daming din na sinasabi. Katulad ito ng mga iba pang mga abogado dyan na alam naman natin mali yung sinasabi nila, but hindi natin alam kung anong nasa likod ng kanilang mga sinasabi. So, ang bottom line para sa akin, mga kababayan, I've been a member of the House. There were 3 impeachment process that I've gone through. First, yung kay Chief Justice Davide. Yung kay Chief Justice Davide, we achieved 1/3. Pero hindi dinanggap ng Senado. Hindi in-endorse ni Speaker De Venecia. So, talagang pamulitika. Yung kay kay Bautista, pinatay na nila doon doon pa sa committee. Wala daw form, walang substance, pero na overall ng plenary. So, ito lahat, it's politics. Kung may order ang speaker, may order ang majority floor leader, lahat yan, lahat yung mga miyembro dyan ng Committee on Justice. It's already been revealed by a Congressman Erice. It's been revealed by Kobe Chanko na pamulitika lahat ito. Kaya, ito sa inyo, lahat dyan ng mga congressman. Ito sa lahat dyan ng mga congressman. Kayo dapat ang imbestigahan base doon sa 18 Marines kung ilan ang maleta na tinanggap nyo. Umami na nga yung isang babae. Umami na. na nakatanggap siya ng maleta. Pero hindi niya sinabi kung magkano ang natanggap ng tatay niya. Ha? Oh, yan po. This is purely political. Pero the people of this country is still hoping that the Senate will give justice to the impeachment process. Kaya takot na takot sila sa Senado because hindi nila alam kung anong decision. Pero for me, it's already, if it's forgone in the House na ma-impeach si Sara Duterte, it's forgone in the Senate na wala silang makukuhang boto to convict her. And that is my, crystal ball saying. Okay? Thank you.
With the due apologies. Kaya kayo, ayoko ng wireless eh. Anyway, with all due apologies to my boss, may sisingit lang po ako another party matter. Noon pong August, this is totally unrelated. Noong pong August, nagkaroon ng hearing yung committee ni Senator Robin Padilla, Committee on Communications and Media on the sexual harassment sa mga studios, where I appeared as one of the resource persons. At further to that, I wrote a letter to follow up the results of what happened in that. And I would like to distribute to you the letter to Senator Padilla, who is a member, by the way, of the Partido Democratico Pilipino, Joey. This is in relation to the amendments to the law on sexual harassment, where I testified regarding the two cases that I've handled for GMA7, yung studio ni Manong Rod on sexual harassment. And nasabi naman doon, in view of the recent resurgence of the revelations against Arnold Clavio, yung kay Sara Balabagan, there is a need to come out with those amendments to the law on sexual harassment. Ito po yung letter. Basically, tapos na po ito, ang sabi ko lang, i-amend niyo yung law on sexual harassment to the effect that those who cover up these acts of sexual harassment should be made as guilty as the principals. Yowie, i-distribute mo na lang. Oo. Oo. Baka makalimutan ko eh. Oo. Para meron na sila. Kasi nga, although I clarified na alam kong walang kinalaman ang mga Goson dyan. They are very godly, religious people and they will not allow it. Eh, yung mga subalterns po nila, yung mga nasa baba ang nagko-cover up. So, yun po, binalita ko lang as a follow-up to another member of the party, si Senator Robin Padilla, who really wants to amend the law para mawala na niyang mga sexual harassment na yan, yung kay Gerald Santos and others na na-cover up. With that, I would like to turn over the floor to my among tunay, Attorney Raul Lambino. Sorry for the interruption.
The rule about being a more supreme or better is mas magaling talaga yung estudyante. Okay. Well, first and foremost, I would like to greet everyone ng magandang umaga ng Huwebes ngayon, ano? Kahit na mataas masyado na yung langis at baka mawalan na tayo ng supply. At tinanong ako ni MJ kanina nung pagpasok ko rito, bakit daw green na naman yung aking kulay ng damit? Eh, favorite the color ko yan eh kasi it signifies two things. One, pro-life. Green is the color of life. Makikita mo yung environment natin, dahon, green yan. It also symbolizes wealth. Kasi green box yan. Kaya ako ay pro-USA. Dahil sa nangyayari ngayong kaguluhan dyan sa Middle East, mag-uusap na raw yung Philippine government at saka Chinese government for possible joint exploration in West Philippine Sea. Most likely, baka magkaroon na rin ng joint fishing expedition sa West Philippine Sea. So, tanggalin natin yung fishing expedition dyan sa House. Dalangin na natin doon sa West Philippine Sea doon. Yung fishing expedition sa West Philippine Sea will be legal and legitimate. Ngayon, bakit ako pro-USA? USA, USA, USA. United Sara ako. Yan ang ibig sabihin. Well, anyway, meron bang karapatan ang ordinaryong mamamayang katulad ko o katulad natin dito sa nangyayaring impeachment proceedings ngayon sa House of Representatives? Are we a party in interest here o si VP Sara lang? Well, two things you have to remember. There are two kinds of impeachable officials. One group are the elected officials, president and vice president. The others are appointed officials, justices of the Supreme Court, ombudsman. Yan yung mga impeached or the Constitutional Commission, COA, etc. Lahat yan appointees. But if you are talking of the president and the vice president, all of us here are on trial. So we are a party in interest here because our being a sovereign people, nakalagay sa Constitution yan eh. O doon pa lang sa preamble, we the sovereign Filipino people. So how do you define being a sovereign Filipino people? Then you go to Article 2, Section 1. Sovereignty resides in the people and all government authority emanates from them. What's the will be removed from office, then we are deprived of our right, being sovereign people, of having elected her to be our vice president. That's why we are here. I am here not just because I am a lawyer who understands a little bit about law. I am here sitting here in front of you para ipaliwanag yung karapatan nating mga ordinaryong mamamayang Pilipino na pag ang tinatanggal o ni-impeach natin ay presidente, vice-presidente, we have the sovereign right that will be affected by the outcome of these proceedings. Kaya, alam po, yung kanilang ginagawa ngayon sa House of Representatives, hinahayaan ko, ako'y natutuwa. Sa totoo lang, yung kanilang pinaggagawa ngayon dyan sa House of Representatives, which is a blatant violation of the provisions of the Constitution as stated by Attorney Bondok a while ago, on Article 11, more particularly Section 3, and Article 3, which is the Bill of Rights. So meaning, we have a possible actionable suit that we can file before the Supreme Court for the House of Representatives abusing its authority, resulting into lack of jurisdiction of what they are doing and an unconstitutional act. So any one of us here can file the corresponding petition before the Supreme Court to question the actions of the House of Representatives. And we are a proper party in interest. Meron tayong personality to file the necessary action. I have been in Congress for so many years. I was there in 1987. I saw the impeachment of Erap there. I was involved in somehow. I was also involved in the impeachment of then Chief Justice Davide as consultant of the Office of the Speaker, give advice to the leaders of the House of what to do. Sumunod po dyan yung impeachment ni GMA. Ilang beses po yung may final dyan. Then the impeachment of Merceditas Gutierrez, impeachment of Andres Bautista, and Sereno. All these impeachment cases that were filed in the House, I was able to be part in whatever capacities. No? Ngayon, going back to the integrity of this impeachment proceedings, tama yung sinabi. Only the Senate has the sole power to try and decide cases of impeachment. When you say try or trial, there is no distinction of maxi trial or mini trial. Basta trial yan. Yung mini skirt lang yan. Magandang panuturin yan. Pero, there's no such thing as mini trial. Saan sila naka-invento ng ganon? Now, if they are going to again define what they're doing as, well, it is akin. Ayan, yung salita akin, akin yan, akin. Okay. Similar to a preliminary investigation before the office of the prosecutor. Or maybe we can say inquest proceedings. Kasi kami mga trial lawyers, dinaanan namin yan eh. So summary lang talaga ang pinag-uusapan doon. Whether it's an inquest proceedings or preliminary investigation before the office of the prosecutor, then the only things to be considered by the prosecutor would be what? The complaint affidavits and the affidavits of the witnesses if there are any, and the counter affidavit of the defendant or respondent, or the real pieces of evidence that have been recovered. And if these are sufficient, then they will file the corresponding information in court. Iyon lang ang gagawin. Hindi pwedeng magkaroon ka ng tawagin ng piskal kung sino-sino yung mga wala naman silang participation that they have not filed any document in form of affidavit. Because that is fishing expedition na yon. Fishing expedition yon. Yung ginagawa nila ngayon, okay, dapat pagbasihan lamang nila. They have already determined yung substance is there. Compliant daw. So, compliant ba yung complaint? Compliant ba doon sa mga attached affidavits? Ngayon, kung meron silang clarificatory hearing, ang tawag ko dyan, hindi trial. They have to clarify those provisions or those allegations in the affidavits that were filed by those potential witnesses or by the complainants. Then they can conduct a hearing. Clarify nyo nga ito. What do you mean by this? That is clarificatory hearing. But if you are going to start issuing subpoena to people who are not mentioned in the complaint or who have not submitted any document or affidavit, that is violation already of the provision of the Constitution on trial. Trial na kasi yan eh. No, sabihin mong mini trial, ano mini trial? Pagkakaiba ba yan sa maxi trial or trial? Pareho lang na trial yan. And remember, any incidents or any other action related to trial, which is the sole power of the Senate, and if this is undertaken by the House of Representatives, it is unconstitutional. It is just not unconstitutional, it's also done with grave abuse of discretion amounting to lack of jurisdiction. Nung binasa ko yung answer ad cotellam ni VP Sara, I was so proud of her lawyers. Magaling sila. They know what they are doing. They know their law. They have to answer it, but it's ad cotellam, meaning to say as a precautionary measure without waiving the right to object on anything related to the unconstitutionality of the complaints or the proceedings that will take place in the House. So ngayon, ang ginagawa nitong Committee on Justice, insisting of issuing subpoenas. Meron silang sinabina pa ng abogado. No? I heard, no, these are all violation. These are all violation of the sole power of the Senate in a trial. No? Hindi naman na ito kasi committee hearing lamang ng in order to, what do you call that, pass a law? No, not anymore. This is a hearing not in aid of legislation, but a committee hearing to determine if there is not just a mere probable cause, but if there are evidence that would warrant the findings of the Committee on Justice to go up to the plenary and for the plenary to decide and then transmit the matter to the Senate. Ganun lang kasimple yung impeachment proceedings. They are trying to complicate things in a way, katulad sinabi ni Attorney Parasil, ni Congressman Jing, because sabi nila, sarsuela ito. Sabi ni Attorney Topacio, kangaroo court. No, don't use kangaroo court. That's going to be an insult to the beautiful kangaroo. I love kangaroo. I've been to Australia many times and they're so beautiful. So please don't don't compare the Committee on Justice as a kangaroo court. It's an insult to the kangaroo. Or even they say sinabi muro-muro. No. Don't use again that muro. It's an insult to our Muslim brothers and sisters. No, di pwede. No, ang ginagawa nila doon sa House of Representatives purely politica. You would want to put the vice president in a bad light in the eyes of the public because she is the most trusted, popular public official of the land now, despite all their efforts to destroy her for the past 2 years. Hindi nila mapababa yan ang kanyang trust rating. And, you know, if you read the decisions of the Supreme Court, the 2025 decision, the motion for reconsideration of 2026, klaro, sinabi ng Supreme Court, this impeachment is not only political, it is also legal process. And when you talk of legal process, the main basis of looking at the legality or illegality of the proceeding is what the Constitution provides, because the Constitution is the supreme law of the land, it is the fundamental law of the land. So anything that is contrary to Article 11 in relation to the Bill of Rights is unconstitutional, therefore it is illegal. And what they are doing right now, it is illegal. May nagtanong din sa akin, paano yung sampina pag pinadalhan ka ng sampina ng Committee on Justice? If they are not going to, if the one that is being addressed to would not attend, can he or she be cited for contempt? Well, for sure gagawin nila yun. Iko-contempt nila yun. Mapapa-aresto pa nila. But would that be a legal action of the House? No. No. It will be unconstitutional. It will violate due process, the right of that person. Because here, it's no longer just be resource person. Papatawag mo siya para magbigay ng kanyang opinion, nalalaman niya tungkol sa isang batas na nakabinbin, panukala na nakabinbin in order to be passed by the committee. Ito hindi na Itong Committee on Justice here is acting not just a mere committee of the House that's going to pass pieces of legislation, but eventually it will become the body that will prosecute these impeachment proceedings in the House. So tama rin yung sinasabi na it is similar to the preliminary investigation or inquest proceedings. Then so submitted yan. Sige, I admit, similar, but it's not the same. But you cannot go beyond what is allowed and authorized in a preliminary investigation or inquest proceedings. Because going beyond that would be violation of the Constitution. So yun lamang po yung aking maikling paliwanag po sa inyo.
Thank you very much. Now I know why Freddy is a good lawyer. He has a brilliant mentor. And I'm glad, and I'm also glad, Freddy, that you have this press conference because, in my opinion, this is the best press conference na nilinaw kung gano'ng kalabo ang ginagawa ng Congress. Maraming salamat. Okay, as your moderator, let me first ask 2 questions before I call the media. Number 1, how long will this, well, I don't want you to more. How long will this committee last in the lower house? And how much is it costing us, taxpayers? May gastos yan di ba? Hindi ba
I'll answer that. Well, as far as the timeline, depende na yun sa gusto nilang ma-obtain Depende na yun kung gaano gusto nilang kahaba. But insofar as the costs, if they're going to continue doing this, it could go beyond 125 million. Mas malaki kaysa sa doon sa kanilang gustong palabasin na confidential fund. No. For sure, we are spending millions here of taxpayers' money of those, ano tawag mo doon? Anong tawag mo doon? Stupid. Okay. So yun ang mangyayari dyan.
My second question is this. Is it possible na hindi aabot to sa Senate for lack of merit?
That is a probability, not just a possibility. Because, as I've said, the proceeding in the House against the Vice President is void ab initio. Nakita nyo naman nangyari doon sa unang kaso. It was declared void ab initio at hindi na natuloy yung trial sa Senado. That's a probability. At dito, mas matindi ang violations. Grave, abuse of discretion of unprecedented character. Sabi ko nga, nadismaya kami ni Perdi, ni Attorney Jing Paras, and of course, Attorney Capasio and Jimmy. We have been witnesses and participants to many impeachment proceedings. Ngayon lang nangyari ito na merong ganyan. They are inventing their own rules na hindi nila pinasa, hindi pinablish. Yung mini-trial na yan, there's no such thing. Not even in the United States and Britain where impeachment originated. Iniimbento ni Congressman Luis to yan. Ang sagwa nakakahiya because the House should have performed its duty in obedience to the Constitution. Hindi sila mas mataas Tapos ngayon, they are usurping the power of the Senate. Diba? Napakapangit tingnan. And where is the prioritization there? Ano bang importante? Itong ginagawa nila kay BP Sara o yung ekonomiya natin ngayon na is already in an emergency situation? Parang there's a wrong prioritization here. So I question because I'm a citizen and I'm a voter and has witnessed for myself lahat ng impeachments na recently meron. Wala sa Davide, I was just a plain observer. Pero sa Sereno, Bautista, I was the lawyer of the two distinguished gentlemen here, Attorney Topacio and Attorney Jing Paras. We impeached Bautista. Kahit na nung umpisa, nag-violate din yung House Committee on Justice sa kanilang rules and the Constitution. But, sinave ng plenary by a very overwhelming vote at na-impeach si Bautista. Hindi siya umabot sa Senado kasi impeach and then he resigned. Naging moot and academic. But I tell you, nakakadismaya ang ginagawa ng House Committee on Justice. And the Supreme Court might probably, hindi ako sigurado because I cannot preempt, might probably issue a TRO here and declare the proceeding void ab initio. Salamat.
Okay, I open now the floor. O sige, please attend quickly ha, mabilis.
Red Mendoza from the Manila Times. Of course, hi, good afternoon, good morning po. Well, ngayon po sinasabi po ni Congressman Leila de Lima na ang ikipagpunta ni VP Sara sa impeachment trial ay parang pagbaliwala daw sa Constitution. And of course, sinabi rin ni Congressman Beatrix Luistro na sa kanyang distrito daw sa Batangas, ano daw, suportado daw yung impeachment. What's your take po doon sa mga sinasabi ng ating mga kagalang-galang ng mga congressman?
Well, hello?
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, with due respect, no? Kasi I'm a member of Congress, but during our time, respectable po kami. And honorable. Wala po kaming mga maleta noon. Ano lang. Envelope. Sobre lang. But no, to answer that, walang basihan yon. Kasi unang-una, wala namang eleksyon. So paano niya ma-test yung support ng kanyang taong bayan? Pero if you base it on the survey ng Pulse Asia, even in Luzon, napakataas ang trust rating ni Vice President. So it's her word against a very official and legitimate survey. So pangalawa po, sinasabi natin na itong sinasabi ng mga congressmen is purely political. Why? I can vouch for it in the sense that nag-file po kami ng impeachment. Nag-file ang bayan muna, nag-file yung sinasabi naming hash-hash na impeachment. Pero yung rules na pinairal nila against Marcos is entirely different than the rules that they're imposing on the impeachment of VP Sara. Doon pa lang, politika na ang umiiral. Doon, nag-trial na o nag-hearing na sila at inang-ano na nila doon pa lang sa determination of substance as far as the Marcos impeachment and concern. Pero dito kay VP Sara, talagang pinalusot yung substance. Because at the end of the day, they want to maximize the propaganda value of the Vice President. Why? For one reason. She will become the next president. And ito lahat ay takot na takot dahil sa daming mga maleta na tinanggap nila. They are thinking that there will be a serious investigation come the presidency of the Vice President. Yun po ang tinatakot. Kaya dito pa lang, papatayin nila. Pero ako, confident ako na hindi basta-basta, itong nasa Committee on Justice mukhang ayos na yan eh. Ayos na yan. And there are people there na talagang they cannot accept the Duterte. Unang-una, ito si Ridot. Bakit siya is in the forefront of all this? For vengeance. Kasi pahiyang-pahiya yung kumag na yan. Dahil sa sinipa siya ni Duterte for being a stupid and, irresponsible head of an office. Can you imagine he was traveling every month, on the basis daw na mayroon siyang doon, nagsasaksya siyang ng pera pero yung kanyang liderato ay urban poor. So, ginagastos niya yung pera para sa urban poor. Kaya, outright, sinipa siya ni President Duterte. So, hindi niya matanggap yon. Kaya, gusto niyang bumawi to the extent na magpapasupina siya ng mga records ng mga bangko at saka mga lawyers firm. Sinita na nga siya ni Congressman Rodriguez na mali-mali yon. There is a client lawyer's privilege. So, hindi ko alam kung nakakahiya naman sa UP College of Law, nanggaling pa ito doon. Now, with your respect, kaibigan ko ito, pero nag-iiba ang ihip ng hangin. Ito si Redon, it's all vengeance. Si Dilima, vengeance din yan eh. Kasi biniblame niya si Ferdito Pasio nung sa BACC at si Bit Aguirre na nag-file sa kanya ng kaso. Which was, kung hindi lang nagbago ang administration, baka nasa kulungan pa yung magandang Laila Junil de Dayan na babae. So, ito po lahat in answer as a parting word. Ito po ay pamulitika lahat. Now, if it's politics, wala, in violation of the Constitution, because in the ruling of the Supreme Court, there must be, the Supreme Court admitted that it is political, but it is also legal. But this Committee on Justice is all purely political lang lahat. Walang legal, kaya they violate the Constitution. And I suppose, I will not be, I would not presume na hindi gumagalaw ang mga abogado ni Vice President to question all this in the court. Itong lahat ng mga violation. And in fact, I believe that if there is an immediate action, they can get an injunction or restraining order in all this violation of the House of Representatives.
Thank you. Okay,
Yun po.
next.
Okay, dagdag ko lang Manong Rod, excuse me, sorry
sige,
to interrupt. Dagdag ko lang, that is another example of the hypocrisy of these people. Si Laila de Lima, noong inimbestigahan yan sa bilibid drug trade, hindi rin siya pumunta eh. She exercised her prerogative not to be present during the hearings. Bago sasabihin ngayon ni de Lima na it should be taken against the Vice President. Kanyang ka-ipokrito itong mga taong ito. Doon sa hearing, doon lumabas yung, Committee on Justice din yun eh. Di ba? Ewan ko kung may ibang committee roon na parang on dangerous drugs yata, I don't know. Pero doon lahat lumabas yung alegasyon. Hindi siya pumunta. She did not rebut yung sinasabi na nagsusubuan sila ng saba ni Dayan. Ba't hindi siya pumunta roon? Sinabi niya, hindi saba, latundan. Ibig sabihin, just to underscore the fact na hindi niya ginagamit yung sinasabi niya sa sarili niya. Hindi siya pumunta roon. And the committee respected that. na hindi siya pumunta. Wala naman sinabi laban sa kanya. Hindi rin pumunta yung mga abogado niya. Bakit ngayon sinasabi niya pag hindi ka pumunta against the Constitution? Hindi ba ang hearings in aid of legislation na nasa Constitution din? Ba't hindi niya sinabi sa sarili niya yun? So, that is how hypocritical, how Janus-faced these people are. Doble cara talaga. Grabe.
Attorney, first, papapikit tuloy si Attorney Bondok sa mga sinasabi mo. But anyway, Congressman Paras, from your end po, do you intend to file this before the Supreme Court? Kasi tinanong namin kahapon ng defense team, too early to say, but that remains to be an option. But from your end po,
I think as a lawyer, no, and I would presume that the hired lawyers of the Vice President, they are actually monitoring all these things. And in my short conversation here with Attorney Bondo, we are in the same mindset that there must be an immediate action. There must be a monitoring because what they are now doing, the Committee on Justice, araw-araw they violate the Constitution. And they should be restrained from further violating and trampling the Constitution. Kasi mali, walang mini trial na nakalagay sa ating saligang batas.
that's why, sir, sa end or sa part niyo po, sir, are we expecting any action? Magpa-file kayo sa
I would
SC?
like to clearly state this for the record. We have not been tasked by anyone to challenge this before the Supreme Court or before any pertinent body. However, as an academic exercise, ako na po ang umaamin sa inyo, as an academic exercise and in the interest of our nation, no? Ako po mismo ay naghanda na ng bullet point argument ready. No, it's a very it is a kung sila may mini trial, kami may mini draft. No? Meron kaming mini draft. What? No, but do you know why? Because lahat naman po tayo gusto natin maging handa. But the reason why I wrote it kaagad, we wrote it, no? Kami ni Attorney Bobet, is because it was too easy to write. It was too easy because the violations are too blatant. Kaya po nangyayari to as a last statement, no? Kasi po, bagamat hindi sufficient in substance and in form sa aming palagay yung mga sinabmit. Ang problema po, yung mga nasa pupo, ang mga sufficient in substance abuse. No? Sila yung sufficient in substance abuse. Kaya ako po, sana mag-ingat sila kasi baka mahirap yung substance abuse kasi baka mag-sufficient in formalin sila pagdating ng ending. No?
So you'll be filing it, Attorney So you'll be filing it, Attorney Bondok, anytime soon?
No,
Let
me clarify. We have not been tasked by anyone.
Okay.
Ginawa po namin to in the interest of justice. Taus-puso po yan. Kasi po, based on their public pronouncements pa lang, it is so easy already to rebut all of their allegations.
Well, let me answer that from the legal standpoint. No? Importante kasi na maintindihan ninyo pag nag-file kayo ng petition that you have a personality to file or the outcome of your petition, whether it's going to be granted or dismissed, would affect your right as a taxpayer, as a citizen, as a voter. I mentioned a while ago, while I am here today, not just being a lawyer to give my little knowledge or opinion on the matter, but because I am a voter, whether I voted for Marcos or Duterte in the last election, he is or she is now the duly elected president of the Philippines, and therefore she represents me also as my vice president. And if you are going to remove her, I will be deprived of my right being represented by a vice president. So, do I have the legal personality to file a suit? Yes, because I am a party in interest. Sabi ko nga, hindi lamang dahil siya lang ang ma-impeach dito, siya lamang ang pwedeng mag-file dito. It's a different ballgame pag pinag-usapan natin dito, mga appointed officials who will be subject for impeachment like justices of the Supreme Court, member of the Constitutional Commission or Ombudsman. Because they are not elected by the people. Pero ang presidente at saka vice president, elected sila ng tao. And as a voter, no, I will be deprived of my sovereign rights kung matatanggal ang isang tao na inelect ng mamamayang Pilipino. So anyone can file, yun ang aking opinion. This is my opinion, the proper petition before the Supreme Court if needed. Kaya nga, no-obserbahan ko yung nangyayaring proceedings magmula pa nung discussion nila about sufficiency of form, sufficiency of substance, tapos itong ginagawa nilang supposed to be committee hearing and then yung kanilang mga pronouncements na mini trial ito. So sabi ko, oh my God, this is already a violation of the Constitution, what they are doing. And therefore, under the provision of the Constitution, more particularly Article 8, for that matter, on the judiciary, may nakalagay doon na yung isang provision about the petition for certiorari questioning the constitutionality of an action amounting to lack of jurisdiction. Not necessarily similar to the provision of Rule 65 of the Rules of Court. Because sa ating saligang batas, meron yung provision na pwedeng magabit. So if you are going to ask me, will you file the necessary petition? I have to think it over after they have concluded all their actions in the House of Representatives. But for now, tulad ni Attorney Bundok, marami na siyang mga bullet points na ginawa nila ni Attorney Torion. Easy to write, sabi nga ni Attorney Bundok. Sabi ko, I don't even need to write. I can already remember everything they are doing because they are so simple. Too easy. No, I cannot forget that. No. Unlike a complicated case na kailangan mo talagang use the weapon of your pen or your computer. But what they are doing now, kung nakalimutan mo ng konti, punta ka sa YouTube, tingnan mo lang yung mga nangyari doon. You would easily remember.
Okay, thank you, Attorney Lubino. I think you said it very profoundly. On trial here pala, is the majority of the voters who voted for VP Sara. Sila ang on trial. Tayo mga bumoto are on trial. That's a very important, a very profound statement. Okay.
Good morning po sa inyo. Sa mga pinaliwanag niyo po kanina, narinig ng marami at tingin ko sa ngayon sila na napakalinaw ng paliwanag po ninyo kasi marami sa mga Pilipino hindi naman intindido sa batas yung karamihan. Ngayon, ang sa akin po, ang gusto ko ipunto rito, hindi puntong legal, kundi yung moral. Kasi po, sabi nga ni Congressman Paras, yung mga buhaya ay mga stupidly stupid sila, sinasang-ayon naman po. Sa tingin ko ng marami kasi nakita naman natin kung paano silang tawagin, honorable, kagalang-galang. Pero ang nakikita po natin ngayon, yung tanong ko po papunta rito sa direksyon. Nakikita po natin na ang dami ng isyong lumutang. Magmula rin sa PDIC, PhilHealth, Maharlika Fund, hanggang doon sa mga, yung 18 Marines, yung mga mali-maleta. Pero prior to that, nagkaroon ho ng malaking issue tungkol sa pagiging drug addict ng ating presidente na nung huli, nagsalita yung ating senador, Amy Marcos, na mismong kapatid niya. Sa akin pong paniwala, personal, napakalaking issue niya ng moral. Pero yun yung kung iisipin nyo kung totoo na ang presidente, adik. Ito po yung tanong ko. Sa tingin po ba ninyo, dahil sa dami ng mga mali-malitang napawalan, marami nang natatakpan ng bibig at nasusuhulan at hindi na makakibo, paano ho ba ang magandang remedyo natin gagawin pa?
Can I answer that? Ako muna, Ang Jing. Alam nyo yung third impeachment namin ni Congressman Jing, Attorney Topacio, and the others, Mike Defensor and the others. Merong ground doon on the alleged drug addiction of the president. Kaya nga hindi tinanggap yung aming complaint ng House Committee Secretary General, House Secretary General, dahil siguro takot sila dyan sa ground na yan eh. Saka yung plunder, isa sa mga grounds yan eh. Moral yan. Hindi lang legal, constitutional, but moral. Kaya takot sila pag moral ang issue eh. Now, itong maleta, andun din yan, yung plunder, which we cited Gutesa and Saldico, na pinatotohanan ngayon ng 18 sundalo. So you see, we have done our part. Congressman Jing, we have done our part. Attorney Topacio, we have done our part. Ang problema, ang House, they have to answer itong maleta issue because Congressman Suntay raised that issue sa Committee on Justice. Kaya doon, pina-rule siya ng out of order. Pero tama yun eh. Because baka ito, yung galaw nila ngayon ay they are prejudiced and biased against the Vice President because may link doon. I'm not saying that they're guilty, pero we raised that.
Well, we have the same mind, sinabi na niya, pero I'll just add, no? Yung lahat na sinabi niyo po, with your question, ni-raise na po namin yan lahat ng issue. That's why we filed an impeachment complaint. Pero, dirty trick kami ng House. Unang-una, they made it sure na yung magtatanggap ay absent, nagbakasyon daw sa Taiwan. Yung kasunod niya, yung deputy, was also told not to accept it. In fact, did we file a case already to this guy? Itong si attorney, we're contemplating on filing a case against yung deputy, si Salonga. Kasi, hindi siya nagtanggap nung impeachment complaint namin. Had it been na tinanggap nila yon, napakalawak po yung akusasyon namin dito sa, ano ba tawag nila dito kay Marcos? Bangag na Pangulo? Yeah. So, mayroon po talaga na complaint kami citing all ng mga lahat na kabulastugan ni Marcos Jr. po. Pero ang inintindi nila yung kay BP Sara. Pero doon sa complaint against Marcos na Pinay ng Bayan muna na mayroon naman ding laman, wala daw substance. So yun po ang imbalance. Yun po ang tinatawag nating pamulitika lamang. To protect Marcos, who is being accused of so many crimes by Saldico, by the 18 Marines, versus an allegation na pinagwala ng base ng COA against the Vice President na napaka-pranggot lang 125 million versus billions of billions na sinasabi ni Saldico na tinanggap ni Marcos Jr. Yun po.
Thank you. Okay,
Nga pala, may naalala lang ako.
Yeah,
Ang
please.
tawag na pala ng ibang tao kay Representative Luistro is representative necessity. Because necessity knows no law.
okay.
Bago natin makalimutan yung issue ng confidential funds. 125 million yun tapos another 600 million yata yung sinasabi, di ba? Yes. Immaterial yung sa DepEd, no? Dahil hindi naman impeachable official yung Secretary of Education. Anyway, pag pinag-usapan natin na ang basis lamang po nila ay yung notice of disallowance sa COA as evidence. Naku po, pag yun po ay tatanggaping ebidensya, karaming makakukulong ng mga cabinet officials o kaya pati sa presidente dahil hindi pa nila na-account yung kanilang mga confidential funds or kaya mga notice of disallowances yan. Billions yan. Pumunta ka sa yung website ng COA. Every department, every year, marami silang mga hindi pa naliliquidate. But it doesn't mean na meron ng krimen na nangyari. So, ang daming mga unliquidated dyan. So, walang basing nga. Tapos, ewan ko, meron akong nakita sa Facebook na ginamit nilang ebidensya. Inilabas na lang nila si Piatos na ebidensya doon sa house, di ba? Pero maglalabas din kami ng Piatos dito, kainin natin ha. Hindi ito ebidensya at merienda kasi ang pandesal lang yung binibigay nila sa kamuning eh.
Okay.
Ito.
Okay. Brevity aside, okay.
Natin to.
Freddy,
Yeah.
with your permission, I want to change the subject, no? Because the economy is a very big problem now because of the oil crisis. Binigyan ng Presidente ng emergency power. Anong inyong recommendation sa Presidente? How to address the oil crisis?
Well, unang-una, there's no need for an emergency power. Kasi, nasa poder na ng Pangulo yan eh. To address the crisis on oil. In fact, yung kanyang Secretary of Energy has already said na may mga kausap na kami, na may mga supply na. Baka may ibang purpose ito. Mayroong mga iba na namang maniobra ito si Marcos. Alam mo, he always have so many dirty tricks in his kilikili. So, these are all alibis na kaya na-alarm ang mga tao. Unang-una, this is too late. Because nung una pa lang na pumutok yung gera, reverberating effect na kaagad yung mawawalan tayo ng oil. Pero sinasabi ni Marcos, 60 days ang reserve natin. Bakit wala pang 30 days nagtaasan na ang mga presyo? So, napaka-hentik niya na Pangulo, hindi niya na-address yung pagsamantala ng mga oil suppliers, yung downstream. Minsan, ako, for my personal experience, pumunta ako sa isang gas station. Isa lang yung gas station ko, parang pinatago ng mga gas station na ma-dispense ka agad yung kanilang stock, hoping to have a windfall. But walang action ang Department of Energy. Walang nakulong, walang nasampahan ng kaso dito sa mga businessmen na mga nagsamantala. So, hindi na kailangan ng emergency. Hinuli na dapat niya kung siya ay talagang competent na Pangulo. Pero he's just so incompetent that he has to devise an alibi through issuance of an emergency executive order, which can be done by the existing laws already.
Thank you. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Medyo naiintindihan ko ng konti yung negosyong oil and gas. Bilang isang abogado, may mga clients tayo who are involved in this industry, both as importers of oil and gas products and also retailers. It's an issue of supply and demand kasi yan eh. Let's face it, maraming mga na-damage ng infrastructure sa Middle East, oil refineries at that. And of course, the problem in Persian Gulf and Gulf of Aden, in between that is the so-called Strait of Hormuz, that then dumadaan yung more than 20% of oil coming from the Middle East. And then the other area is yung tinatawag nating Swiss Gulf and the Red Sea going to the Gulf of Aden patungo sa Indian Ocean. Meron din isang strait dyan, yung Bab el-Mandab or Strait of Mandab, na mas makipot yun kaysa sa Strait of Hormuz. Kaya dito sa Arabian Peninsula, andyan yung Yemen, yung Houthi. Yan ang kanilang binabantayan din. Baka magsarado yan pag sumama na yung Houthi dito sa gulo. So dalawang areas yung maapektuhan yan. Strait of Hormuz, that is the body between Persian Gulf and the Gulf of Aden going to the Arabian Sea back to the Indian Ocean. Saka yung isa, yung Strait of Mandab, yung Bab el-Mandab. Nakakatakot yung mga situations na yan. Pero ngayon, sabi ng Amerika, okay, na yung kanilang naval vessels, they would even have to escort yung mga tankers na manggagaling sa Persian Gulf o manggagaling sa Red Sea, papalabas ng Arabian Sea going to Indian Ocean para makarating yung langis going to Asia. Okay. Alam po ninyo, ang problema ay yung mga may-ari ng barko. Marami pang supply na nasa Middle East. Pero yung mga may-ari ng barko, no, oil tankers, ayaw nilang papuntahin yung kanilang mga barko kasi masyadong risky. At ang Lloyd's of London, which is the biggest insurance company na nagbibigay ng napakalaking cover for ships, maritime insurance, ayaw mag-issue ng insurance. Pag ayaw mag-issue ng insurance yan, syempre yung mga may-ari ng barko, ayaw nilang payagan yung mga barko nila. So ang ginawa ng Amerika ngayon, using the powers of Trump, they have allowed the use of what we call the Development Finance Corporation funds. Nagtalaga sila ng $20 billion to cover what Lloyd's of London will not cover. Kaya meron ng mga ships, ng commercial ships na maglalayag sila going to the Persian Gulf, going to the Red Sea para magtala ng langis sa atin sa Asia. Pag tumagal pa itong kaguluhan na ito for another 30 days, let's face the reality. Talaga pong wala nang darating na oil supply dito sa atin. But for now, pag pananiwalaan natin sinasabi ng Department of Energy that we have sufficient supply available here, yes. Siyempre hindi mo maiwasan doon sa mga negosyante dito, mga retailers at sa mga oil importer that anticipating their loss of profit in the next weeks to come, magtaas na sila ng presyo ngayon. It's not hoarding but they are going to really anticipate yung losses nila mangyayari. Kaya yung diesel ngayon is more than 120 pesos per liter na yata kung hindi ako nagkakamali. You expect na tataas pa ito. And ito nga naman ang maganda. USA. Pero merong nagsasabi, hindi ba ang may pinakamalaking mga refineries dito sa Asia ngayon is China? And China has one of the biggest strategic oil reserve in the world. Maybe after America, China ang may pinakamalaking strategic reserve. Because they bought millions and millions and millions of oil in the past 20 years. And they have established several strategic oil reserve in different areas in China. Tapos ito, nag-usap na po ang ating Department of Energy with the Chinese Embassy. And they have discussed the possibility for China to at least share some of its oil products going to the Philippines. Pinag-uusapan na in the same manner na nagkaroon na ng pag-uusap yung dalawang ahensya natin, Department of Foreign Affairs at saka Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China, at pinag-uusapan na rin yung possible joint exploration in the West Philippine Sea. Nag-uusap na rin yung ambassador ng China na nandito, si Jing Chan, at saka si Secretary Laurel ng Department of Agriculture on the continuous supply of fertilizers from China going to the Philippines. Kasi ang China pa rin ang may pinakamalaking source ng chemical fertilizer. So this is not just an issue of oil supply or oil price, but even food security. And mind you, I know this kasi alam nyo naman, ako ang chairman ng Association for Philippines-China Understanding. I've been involved in so many affairs pagdating po doon sa people-to-people exchange, educational exchange, cultural exchanges, pagpapadala ng media na gustong pagpunta sa China, things like that. And I'm quite familiar with how the discussions are being done by our government. Nasa ano na ang discussion between the Philippine government and the Chinese government, and this is not confidential. It is already on the level of undersecretary. Nasa undersecretary level. Tapos na doon sa mga assistant secretary level. Tumas na yung level, which is good. You know, for almost 2 years, hindi nag-uusap ang China at sa Pilipinas. The past 2 years, dito lang nag-umpisa yung usapan. And good for us kasi ini-entertain pa rin tayo ng China. They have all the power na magsuplado sila sa atin at sabihin, ayaw namin kayong kausap. Medyo inaano nyo kami masyado. Xenophobia, tapos nangyayari dyan, pinapalaki yung maliit na issue dyan sa West Philippines, etc. But thankfully, nag-uusap na ngayon ang ating Department of Foreign Affairs under the leadership of Secretary Lazaro and yung representative din ng Ministry of Foreign Affairs in China. And they are now in this higher level. So hopefully, within the month of March or April, baka makarating na sa ministerial level yung usapan. At pag nangyari po yan, I think China would be willing to give us some of their oil products and fertilizer products.
Oh, that's good news. Good news. Okay, we all have.
Maka-interject lang ako, Manong Rod. With all due respect, I beg to disagree na ang pinakamaraming fertilizer ay China. House of Representatives ng Pilipinas po.
Okay, okay. We all have 6 minutes left. No, I want to end this by 11:30. So, any more questions from the media before I close the floor? Any more? None? Nada? Okay, going. Okay. Okay. Can you please come here? Please.
Good morning po sa inyong lahat. Ay ating,
Identify.
I'm Linda Rapadas from Bulgar, Tabloid. As much as present po no, ng PDP, ng PDP, gusto ko pong malaman, dahil alam niyo po na yung kasalukuyang gobyerno ngayon is matatag dahil malaki ang kanilang pondo. So ano po ang status ngayon ng pondo ng PDP? At sino yung mga panlaban nyo na iaharap sa
Thank you.
Well, bilang Vice President ng PDP and National Spokesman, wala pong pondo yung partido. Sa totoo lang. Kasi this is the only political party in the Philippines that is not financed or controlled or influenced by oligarchs. Yung mga ibang political parties kasi natin dito, ayoko nang banggitin yung mga partido na yan. Pero you know who the personalities behind these political parties. Dito sa PDP, of course, Tatay Digong siya yung ating chairman emeritus. Ang presidente ng partido, si Basti Duterte. Ang vice chairman, si Al Pusi, walang pera. Vice President, Raul Lambino. Wala kaming pera. Oh, si Ferdi, mapera. So, but we are the only political party that is grounded down below. We are not the political party that is floating on the clouds na wala silang mga membrong ordinaryong mamamayan sa mga barangay. Ang PDP po meron. Continuing po yung aming basic membership seminar with ordinary people. We have started already appointing presidents of our parties in every provinces, and eventually we go to all towns and barangay. Unti-unti lang kasi ang gusto namin, matapos man ang eleksyon or hindi, walang iwanan ang PDP. Hindi katulad ng nangyari yung experience. At saka bago pala, I have to be very open with you pagdating sa oil and gas. I had a meeting last week with no other than the First Secretary of the Political Affairs Section ng Russian Embassy. Kaibigan din natin kasi. So nakiusap ako sa kanya na tulungan nyo naman kami sa Pilipinas because outside of the Arabian Peninsula or the Middle East and the United States, the country that has the third biggest reserve is Russia. Pero ang problema rin sa Russia ngayon, yung igera pa rin nila sa Ukraine at saka yung mga oil pipeline going to and medyo apektado. But Russia is still one of the main sources of China's fuel. So, dinadala ng Russia yung kanilang fuel sa China at saka sa India, pero mas marami na pupunta sa China. So, pag pumayag yung Russia at sabihin sa China, yung bibigay namin supply sa inyo dyan sa China, ibahagi nyo naman ang Pilipinas. So, I've already, on my own initiative, not because, but I really wanted to help kasi alam ko yung problema pagdating sa oil and gas.
Thank you so much, Mr. Okay, Kong, the last statement.
Nagtatanong po kayo kung sinong may pera sa Pilipilaban? Unang-una, si Magtibag, daming pera yon. Kaya lang, in-scratch niya yung Pilipilaban at tumalon doon sa kabila. Isa pang may pera sa Pilipilaban, yung Pipito Alvarez, daming pera din yun. Tumalon din. Kawawa yung Pilipilaban, walang naiwang pera. Ayawan ko si Alcosi, baka mayroon pa. Pero anyway, whatsoever, ma'am. Ha? Yung si Magtibag, ang dami palang pera nun. Katabi niya yung bata-bata ni Atong Ang, yung si, anong pangalan nun? Atayde. Ha? Naglabas ng 1 bilyon, ha? Tapos, hinawakan ni Magtibag. So, marami silang pera. Pero hindi na pinipilaban yun ngayon. Ha? Nasa kabilang dako na. At iniimbestigahan yung mga 18 Marines na magsasabi sana kung sino binigyan ng mga maleta-maleta.
Okay.
Mayroon talagang traitor sa bawat organisasyon.
Okay, we can conclude this with two things. Number one, the good news, the impeachment medyo malabo. Okay. Number two, oil prices, there's oil. Thanks to China and to Russia. On that note, I would like to close the forum and thank everybody. Okay, last na ha. Okay, sige.
Sa PDP Laban, Cathy Cruz po from DZXL ang ating katipunan at tuklasinnatin.net. Ang gusto ko pong malaman kung yung pagdeklara po ba ng state of energy emergency ay tama po ba yun? Gayong maraming problema ang ating bansa. At follow-up question ko doon is, ang PDP Laban po ba tinatayuan ang pag-implementa ng Article 12, Section 17 and 18 sa sitwasyon po ng ating bansa? Thank you.
Senator Topacio will answer that, no? Nakakagulat lang that bakit kailangan mag-declare ng state of national energy emergency na hindi naman ginawa ng ibang bansa ito eh. Marami, buong mundo ay apektado dito, but not anyone in the Southeast Asia as far as I know, or dito sa ASEAN, or even in other parts of the world, in Latin America or in Africa, na yung kanilang gobyerno ay nag-declare ng state of national energy emergency. Yung pagdeklara kasi ng kanyang mga ganyan, emergency, parang sa national disaster, then they can start controlling yung flow and price of commodity. Lalong naaalarma tuloy ang taong bayan. Lalong naaalarma yung taong bayan. Na para bang may agenda or what na gawin ito para ma-justify yung pagtaas ng mga presyo ng mga produktong langis and eventually lahat ng mga produkto na nakailangan natin palusot. Na hindi naman dapat kasi magkasalungat yung sinasabi nila na there is adequate supply of oil products in the country that will last for another 60 days or 50 days. Then tapos mag-declare ka ng state of national energy emergency. I don't think that is the right approach. I'm sorry to say, I beg to disagree with the action taken by the government in this regard. Kasi sa akin, pwede naman tayo katulad ng usap tayo doon sa mga countries that have available supplies na pwedeng maiparating pa rito. Ang problema natin pag hindi tayo bigyan. Yun, problema ng liderato.
Of course, I cannot deviate from my boss. At yun naman talagang standard ng PDP. Yung sinasabi niyang agenda lamang, let me just expand on that. Tama po yun eh. Unnecessary. Because all of the powers are already existing. Kaso nyo, ito ang not so hidden kasi mababasa nyo naman na, alam nyo, in an administration that has the trust and confidence of its citizens, hindi ito mapapansin eh. But with a president who has an approval rating of below sea level, laging kahina-hinala ito mga provisions nito ng yung emergency, yung EO 110. Kita nyo ha, number 1. Yung pag-accelerate, hindi lang ito kasi ayuda eh. Hindi lang price control. May infrastructure. Ano ba infrastructure? Di ba flood control infrastructure yun? Ito ha. Well, ito ay nag-accelerate ng construction of renewable energy infrastructure. Solar siguro, natural gas. Ano to? Build, construction. Anong construction? At may pondo. Sinong kukontrata niyan? At pina-fast track. Okay. Infrastructure support, construction na naman. Power generation and transmission facilities, hindi na ayuda ito. Yung mga tore ito, o sino namang gagawa niyan? May mga congressman na naman bang mangongontrata dyan? O, ito pa. Emergency procurement. Fast track na naman yan. May mangongontrata na naman yan. Katulad ng sabi ko, kung katiwa-tiwala ang pamahalaan, kung tayo ay nasa Singapore, actually kahit Vietnam, mataas ang level nila ng trust. Okay ito, pero under a government na sinasabi nga na sindikato mabigat lunukin itong mga ito. Bakit may infrastructure? Bakit hindi yung ayuda lang? At parang mas malaki pa yata yung naka-earmark for infrastructure than ayuda. So yun ang medyo may misgiving po tayo. Kaya tama po yung sinabi ni Atty. Lambdino, unnecessary, dumiskarte na naman. Magaling mag-diskarte talaga itong gobyernong ito. Thank you po.
Okay, thank you very much. On that note, we close the forum. And thank you for the question. Salamat sa question niyo. Okay.
Wala maleta na naman.
Kasi